So I'm live today. I know it's been a minute since I have gone live on this channel. So I was thinking of filming a little bit of a haul video and doing some chit chat around money with you. And then I decided, why not just do it live? It will be so much more fun. So I'm just going to talk through some of the recent purchases that I have made on my travels and then share some thoughts with you on money that have been kind of recently floating around in my mind. Okay, so let me know that you're here and that you can see me and hear me, and then we'll get started. Hello, hello. Hi, Carrie, I see you. Hey, girl. Awesome. Hey, hello. Okay, everyone's here watching Cash in Your Abundance. Hey, girl. I have actually some thoughts on designer purposes and lifestyle. And it's a fantastic video topic that I'm actually going to do a whole video on, but I wanted to share it with you guys at the end of this as we're doing chit-chatting while waiting to go shopping and date night. Hey, girl. Yes. Okay, so let's start with, I'm going to start with this purchase first because I purchased this in Europe on my recent travel, and then I didn't do a lot of shopping on that trip, so then there wasn't really like a whole video to do on its own, so I'm just putting it in with the Hawaii shopping. So this is a style of Chanel bag that it was, I don't know if it's discontinued or it was like an old seasonal piece that I had seen, and I was like, oh, I really want this style, but I couldn't find it anywhere. When I went to France, I actually asked the guy there that was helping me, I tried to describe it to him the best I could, and at first he told me that he didn't have it. But as I kept looking at more pieces, I think he understood what I was saying a little bit better, and then he went and found the piece. So I'm really excited to have this because apparently you can't buy it anymore. So this is what it looks like. And this is such a fantastic piece for travel. I don't think I would be able to use it too much in my hometown unless Irfan's driving me around, which is most of the time because I don't really like driving that much. But because it doesn't fit my keys, plus my wallet and like other things, or my phone, but I love it for travel. It was like my go-to. I wore this like all the time there. We were in Europe for 3 weeks and then 1 week in Mexico on that same trip. So you can put your phone right here, and then it has like credit card slots on both pockets, and I love it. So what I do is I don't take a purse on my travel because that's like a thing for me now, that when I get there, I buy a purse, which kind of backfired on me in Hawaii, this recent trip almost. I'll share that story. But so this was the one that I ended up buying there. And I'm so glad that I was able to get it because I have not seen this in the US for a while. Unless people are wearing it. So super excited about this purchase. It's a really great travel bag for sure. If you just have your, and the thing that was easy with this is that when we're out and about and we just want to keep taking pictures, like it's so much easy to just grab your phone versus like fiddling with zippers and things. So that was my one Europe purchase, other than, well, designer purchase, other than like random things like makeup and shoes and skincare that it's not like worth showing. Okay, then another purchase that I made right before leaving for the Hawaii trip was this. Actually two things I'm gonna grab. I don't know, is Longchamp considered designer? I don't know. I bought a couple of those bags for travel and these Prada sunglasses. I haven't purchased sunglasses in forever, like in like 5-6 years, other than the Louis Vuitton ones, which I got last year. Okay, maybe that's that. Yes. So like I haven't been purchasing too many designer sunglasses, and like I've lost a few pairs. So like I don't have sunglasses. And so I bought this one to take to Hawaii with me. And I really like these. They're kind of dirty right now, but I feel like it suits my face really well. If you want cat eye sunglasses, I feel like Prada does cat eyes like no one else. So if you want like a really good cat eye, I think Prada is the way to go. So this was my purchase here. Then when I got there, I fell in love with these Valentino sunglasses. And so then I ended up with 2 on that trip. These I love. They have that like V right there. And I don't know, I really, really like these. Like these are just so glamorous. I really love these. What do you guys think? I just love, love, love them. Super excited. Also, side note, Valentino just went on sale. They're having their, along with a lot of other places. Unfortunately, I was not able to get these on sale. However, okay, so this is the story. So right now, a lot of designers, high-end designers, not all of them, but a lot of them, they go on sale twice a year. So what they do is all of their seasonal pieces go on sale in June and then December/January. I don't know if a lot of people know this. And so my essay at the Galleria Mall Valentino, Parker Voss, I don't know if I'm supposed to give out his name, but Parker and I have had a relationship for over 10 years. So I'm sure he won't mind. He will send me the going on sale list like a week prior to things actually going on sale. So I usually have first dibs on that. And something funny happened. So me and one of my students who actually lives in Houston, so I should start saying my friend because we decided we're gonna be best friends, which is a whole nother story that I will share with you at a different time. So her and I were looking at this bag. She was looking at it in white, same bag, and I was looking at it in black. And as we're like trying it on and getting ready to purchase it, it occurred to me that the sale was going to start. So I'm like, hold on, let me look at the list that Parker sent me. I go on my phone, pull up the list, and guess what? Those bags were 40% off starting like now. So I messaged Parker and both of us were able to buy those bags while standing in the Hawaii Valentino store because they couldn't sell it to us, they said, until the sale actually began. So anyways, that bag for me is coming next week. I'll do another haul. So if you're into Valentino, which I'm obsessed with their shoes and now other things as well, you might want to hop into your local store and see what that is. If you have a relationship with the SA, then of course you can just text them and they'll just send you the list. And there's another pair of sunglasses currently on sale. So I'm gonna try to see if I can go in the store and grab those as well. Those would be 40% off right now. Okay, just a side note. All right, so let's continue the haul. Oh my God, this is probably my favorite purchase. These are my Cinderella shoes. I wore these for my intensive. I went to Hawaii for my Rich Babe intensive this past week. I should have mentioned that. That's where I got the Valentino sunglasses. And I walked in the Christian Louboutin store just thinking, okay, I'm just gonna like try some stuff on. And then I saw these. When I say that these, like, the camera and the lighting does not do these shoes justice. They sparkle like, I mean, you would think these are like the most brilliantly cut diamonds. They're Swarovski crystals, I believe, but they look so much more just radiant and brilliant in real life. So of course I had to get these. These are my most expensive Christian Louboutin shoes. I have a whole closet full of these, but these are definitely my most expensive. And so they stretched my container a little bit about like how much I'm willing to spend on shoes, but they were worth every penny. Look at this. And I'm telling you, the camera just doesn't do it justice. When you have these on your feet, like people can't look at anything except like you walking with these brilliant cut diamonds on your shoes. Like that's what it looks like. Okay, so had to, and I did wear these, but they're still good. Love, love, love these. Probably my favorite purchase. Okay, then the next thing I want to show you. So when I got there to Hawaii, I didn't carry a purse. I just took my like little Longchamp. I think that's Longchamp, I think it's pronounced. Let me show you what I carried with me. Okay, so I had gotten this from Nordstrom's. And this was just gonna be like my travel purse. Like this is not a real purse to me. This is just like a travel purse. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna land, and I usually stay at the Ritz-Carlton there, which is like right above the Chanel. So like, here's Ritz-Carlton, here's Chanel. It's like attached to the same building. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like drop my stuff off and go down and buy a Chanel bag. Well, I end up in Chanel and there's, first of all, there's like nothing out. There's like nothing. And they said, well, we can't sell you anything. They said we have a lot of stuff in the back. I'm like, yay, great. Okay, show me, I wanna buy a purse. And they said, we cannot show you until Thursday. I said, okay, why not? You have it in the bag. I'm here to purchase a bag. I literally didn't carry a bag here. Sell me the purse. We can't sell it to you until Thursday. Why not? Because Thursday is when we can take out the stuff. I don't understand this weird sales model. I'm also in sales. When someone wants to buy something, I just sell it to them. So it was bizarre. But I went in 3 different times to that same Chanel store and 1 time to the Ala Moana Center, the bigger Chanel store where I got my other bag last time in April. And nope, they had no stock. And in fact, there were a couple things in the Ala Moana Center that I was like, okay, they're kind of nice. The woman was like, psst, don't buy these. These are last season. There's better things than the Thursday. And I was leaving on Wednesday. I was coming back here on Wednesday. Well, I got here on Thursday, but leaving there. So I'm gonna have to go in my own Houston store. However, I needed a bag and I had other things on my wish list. And one of the things was this Gucci bag that I had wanted for a while but kept putting off. And as you guys know, Hawaii is discounted in a lot, like they have Hawaii international pricing for a lot of brands, and Gucci is one of those brands. So I said, okay, maybe this is a sign that I need to just like go and get the bag that I've wanted to get for a while. And so I ended up getting this one. I have had this kind of like on my radar for at least 4 or 5 years, but for some reason I just kept getting some other bag. You know that stuff on your list where it's like, yeah, someday I'll get it, but it's not like a priority. So I went ahead and used this opportunity to make this the priority bag. And so this ended up being my Hawaii purchase. This was 10% off, and then their tax is 4.25 and ours is 8.25. So it was all actually cheaper for me. It's like 14% off to purchase it there. I also bought a whole bunch of makeup. I never buy makeup when traveling. Well, unless I like just need something, but I bought a ridiculous amount of makeup on this trip. I don't know why. And it's like all stuffed in here. Lots of Chanel makeup. So yeah, I won't show you guys all of that, but I just have all of that stuffed in here. I used it to stuff this bag. So I ended up carrying this to my intensive and for that trip. Okay. And then of course I bought the Valentino bag, but I bought it from the Houston store. So that's coming next week. They had one in stock, but it was a floor model, and Parker already knows I don't do floor models unless like it's the only one and maybe if I really want it. So he ordered me a brand new one from the warehouse that's coming next week. Okay, more stuff. Let me finish. We'll have a lot of Gucci stuff. Okay, so I also ended up getting these slides, or I don't know what they're called. Flip-flops, slides, sandals. You guys know back in the day, I used to be obsessed with, there's a message on the back in a different language. I never noticed that. Interesting. I'm gonna have to have my son translate that. Okay, so I used to be really into Tory Burch sandals and like flats and things like that. And I have a lot of theirs still. But I don't usually like the newer stuff that they release. So a lot of my Tory Burch stuff is like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. And recently what's been happening is every time I wear it out, like something will break because they're that old and I've just worn the hell out of them. That shows you that when you buy nice designer quality things, like you use them until they just like, and I can still get them fixed. Like there is nothing wrong with them. Like you can take them to your shoe guy and they can put them together. So like you're actually helping the environment. But I knew that I needed to like invest in a new pair, but I just didn't like anything from Tory Burch or anyone that was like my style. And so I did just like a everyday, running to the store kind of flats, which I don't wear a lot. I usually 99.9% of the time I wear heels. But these are gonna be like my just running out real quick slides. So I got these from Gucci. Okay. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I think one was just mine. Yeah, so the Louis Vuitton, okay, that I already had. I don't know if I've showed you guys. So I had worn this Louis Vuitton belt, which I already had from before, to Hawaii because I like to cinch in my belt, my dresses up top here. That is what I should be doing according to my Kibi system. And I just love doing it that way. It just like gives me that shape, that hourglass, and makes my dresses just so much more fun to wear. And so I don't spend a lot on dresses, but I'll just buy, you know, like a $200 dress, and then you can just dress it up with like a designer belt. So that's my thing. So I was just taking this one belt thinking, okay, maybe I'll get one more belt while I'm there. And then I ended up buying 4. Yep. They just had so many pieces that I don't see at my local stores here. I had to. Okay, so this was the first one. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, this is my most favorite. Whew. Okay, so I went into Gucci the first day and I'm like looking around. I didn't buy the bag the first day that I went in. This is like when I'm disappointed with Chanel anyways because they won't give me the stuff even though they have it. So then I'm like, okay, screw you. I'm just gonna go to Gucci. So I go to Gucci and they had this belt. Again, I've got my lighting kit on, which washes out everything. But this sparkles like you won't believe. Like this is Mina in a belt. When I saw this, I was like, just pack that up. That's mine. And then I ended up wearing this for the first day of my intensive. So the first day was the VIP Rainmaker event. And this belt was like so good. Like I wore a simple black off the shoulder, kind of like this dress. It was like a plain black dress from Express. Like actually the top looked exactly like this. And then I just put this on and it was like, oh, I just loved it. I got so many compliments. The girls loved it. And this is my belt. I love this belt. If I just wore one belt every day, it would be this one. It's so good. Okay, so that was what I purchased the first day at Gucci. Then I went back. No, it was that one and this one. Okay, so the first day I got that belt and I also saw this one, right? So this is just the plain, like, you know, beige one with a little logo. But the dress that I had on that day, when I tried this belt on, this belt was like made for that dress. So it just like really looked good. And I don't have this color and I like to wear dresses every day cinched in with a belt. So that's like my signature style. So I'm like, okay, I'll get this too. So I ended up buying this and this the first day. The second day that I went to Gucci, I bought the bag, this bag, the slides, which I already showed you. And then she pulled out this belt. And I'm like, what? Oh my God. Okay. So this belt is this beautiful silver belt with a gold logo. Now, if this had a silver belt logo, I wouldn't have bought it because you guys know I like my gold. I love wearing gold. My husband buys me all these like very nice diamond pieces with like white gold or like platinum. Like he likes the white gold look. So I do have my like fix of that from him. For some reason, he never buys me gold. He always buys me diamonds and they're always set on the white color, right? Like whether it's platinum or white gold. But I prefer to buy the yellow gold. And so the second day's outfit that I was going to wear for my intensives was this color. It was literally metallic silver. And the gold tied in my jewelry pieces and like my handbag and everything. So I'm like, that belt was made for the dress that I'm going to wear for my second day. So I ended up buying that. So the second day, this is live, so I can't insert a picture. I wore the white metallic dress, this belt, these shoes, and then the white bag. It was just like match made in heaven. That was like the best outfit ever. I'm excited about wearing that outfit again. So again, this is perfect for me because I can still do silver, but still have like the gold tying everything together, if that makes sense. Okay. Then I ended up at Valentino like 50,000 times. And I bought, no, first I bought this. So I was at Valentino and then I see this belt. I thought I was gonna buy shoes there, but I saw this belt and this shade of red is like my shade of red, and red and green are my primary colors that I should be wearing. If I close my eyes based on my coloring and my Kibi system, everything I've had done, I can never go wrong with green and red because my like I'm made of green and red the most. Like that's the closest that I'm a neutral undertone. So when I saw this red, I'm like, oh, I love this red. And then I find out it's actually a reversible belt. So it's like buying two belts because you can take off the logo and put it on the other side and then have a black belt. So at first I didn't buy it because I'm like, well, I just bought three belts, right? So I left. But then when I went back, I'm like, you wear belts literally every day. It is your signature style. You don't have a Valentino belt. You only have whole lot of Gucci and Louis Vuitton. Just and I have one Chanel. Just go back and get it. It's like two belts in one, right? So I went back and I got it and I'm so happy. I wore this actually on the trip back, on the ride back, and I really, really love it. My only thing is that this is the only belt I own where the buckle part, this part is not attached, it comes out. So at the airport, I always ring, obviously, because I don't take off my Chanel, my Cartier bracelets and things. So on the way, I always ring. I know I'm gonna ring. I'm TSA pre, so they don't require me to take a lot of things off anyways. But I just tell them, look, I'm gonna walk through, I'm gonna ring, and then just put me in the other machine. So I rang, and then I walk through the other machine where you have to put your hands up and like they scan you. But for some reason, this time, the girl said, you need to take off your belt. They never make me take off my belt. I'm TSA pre, I'm not required to take my belt off. So I take off my belt and one of the loops fell off. I know this because actually both of the loops fell off. She picked up one and gave it to me and I held it in my hand and it didn't occur to me to check if the other one had fallen off. So I know Parker will take care of me when I go into Valentino to pick up my other bag. They'll just give me the loop, but how freaking annoying. This is what I mean. Like with Gucci, it's attached. It can't fall off. Do you see that? And let me see. And then with Louis Vuitton, same thing. It's like it's attached on the inside. Like that's where you loop the belt. And so I don't know why they have it separately like that. My friend who also bought a Valentino belt, she was at the intensive. She already had a Valentino belt and she said the same thing happened to her. She was asked to remove the belt at the airport and she lost one of the loops. So that part is a little annoying, but I'm sure they'll give it to me when I go back. That's why you have to have a relationship with an SA. Let me just say that, because when these kind of things happen, they'll take care of you. I get really good service at Cartier, especially because I have a good relationship with my SA there. I mean, I would consider him one of my friends. And so when things like that happen, they'll just take care of you and fix it. Okay, speaking of Cartier, so the last piece that I bought is this. As you guys remember, this is what I was trying to buy last time I was there, but I ended up getting a ring because they didn't have this in stock. They had the plain one. They didn't have the one with diamonds, which is the one that I wanted. So this time they had both of them and I was able to try on the plain one and the one with diamonds, and I decided to go with the one in diamonds. So you know, I have this one in the smaller size and that is my lucky necklace. That necklace, like when it came into my life, like all this abundance, like more abundance started flowing into my life, and I believe that that necklace is lucky for me. So I'm like, okay, let's get the bigger one. So I got this one as my Hawaii souvenir for this trip. So let me think, is that it? I think that's it for my haul. Yeah, I'm not showing you the makeup. I went really crazy on makeup this trip, which is so unlike me to buy makeup when traveling, but I did. I went to Sephora like 2 or 3 times. I bought a lot of makeup at Dior, at Chanel, but new containers. Let me see what you guys are saying. I'm gonna pull you up and then let's talk money. That was a lot of hauling, which I love doing. I haven't done that in a while. So let's see what you guys are saying. Whoa, there's a lot of people commenting over here. Mina, you embody luxury and abundance. I enjoy it so much. Yay, thank you. Thank you so much, Heather. Thank you, babe. Yeah, that red color, right? Here's the thing, I don't want to give too much away, but should I just tell you guys? Okay, so the Valentino bag that I bought, it's black with the red interior. So the way the bag is designed, when you hold it, it opens up, and this color red is the pop of color inside. So I'm like, oh my God, I could totally see myself wearing like black Christian Louboutins with the red bottom, this belt, and then that handbag. And I'm like, that's an outfit. In fact, maybe I'll wear that for my July 13th intensive happening in Houston. That's like a whole outfit, right? So I love it. Mina, your lifestyle inspires me every day. Thank you. You are so welcome, babe. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, these are really great bags. These just for travel, they're just so lightweight. The thing I love about this bag, as someone said that they want to get this. Okay, let me just tell you what I don't like about these. I don't like the ones with the really long handles like this, which you put on your shoulder. And I know that's great. A lot of people have them. I can see the functionality. I don't like doing really heavy bags on my shoulder. In fact, according to my Kibbe system, that's not like a good look on me. And now it makes sense why I never like liked it. I've bought the Neverfull, Louis Vuitton Neverfull 6 times and sold it. I don't know if you guys know this. I would want to like the Neverfull, but that is not a look that looks good on my body shape. That's important too. You should be buying things, especially investment pieces like these, that actually enhance your look and not take something away from it. Otherwise, it's not luxury. If you should be the one looking luxury, not the thing. It shouldn't be like Mina's wearing a designer belt. It should be like, it's like you just see me and then all of those things are luxuries, if that makes sense, right? Like the belt shouldn't be wearing me, is what I'm trying to say. So this handle design, when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is perfect because it's supposed to be handheld and I could do this if I want to. And this size is perfect. I don't travel like with lots of things. I try to keep it like as minimalist as possible because I know I'm gonna do shopping there and bring things back. So I bought this one, and then I got a large pink one with the same handle that folds up that I put in my suitcase, and that's what I carried all this stuff in because you can't check in, like I don't want to check that stuff in. So I carried that back. So this was a really good purchase as well. Sometimes you can even find these at Nordstrom Rack for like a really good discount. I would always see them there, but this time that I needed it, of course I didn't. So I had to just go to Nordstrom and just get it full price, which is fine. They're not that expensive. Okay, let's see. Hey Lulu, nice to see you. I love shopping. I love shopping. It's so much fun. Okay, so let me talk a little bit about money that I wanted to talk to you guys about. So I recently binge watched the show Selling Sunset. I was aware of the show. I had tried watching it before, but then I didn't. And here's why. I don't do well with drama. I just don't like things where women are arguing or fighting, especially grown women. It's just like very petty to me. So I don't watch shows like that. However, this time around, as you guys know, we're in the middle of purchasing a really designer luxury home. It's our first multi-million-dollar property, and like I'm super like excited about it. So I was like, you know what? They show all these designer luxury homes on Selling Sunset. Let me like get back into it. And I just made a mental note that I was going to just forward or pass through those scenes where women were being catty and fighting and basic babes. I am so glad I binge watched that show. I learned so much and had so many like downloads about programs and courses and like insights on money. Just like watching it, so much was coming up and I'm like, oh, I gotta share this with the girls. So one thing that showed up for me was this showed up a couple times on the show, and then it reminded me of when I used to do real estate back in Chicago. And it reminded me something very important about wealth, the way that my husband and I do wealth. And the thing is that there is a woman on Selling Sunset, one of the buyers, and she's looking for a house in a certain price point that she can afford. And what I was noticing is that her luxury lifestyle, she had over improved on her luxury lifestyle, and now she can't really find a house in the budget that she has to house all those things. So let me step back and explain something to you. So in the real estate world, there is a term called over improvement. And what this terms mean, I'm explaining this for people that are maybe not into real estate. So if you take a property that is on a block with like $500,000 homes, okay, and you put some upgrades into it. Let's say you redo the kitchen and a couple of bathrooms, and that house now is worth $550,000. That's a really good improvement, right? Because if all the houses are in the $5,000 range and your house has a little bit extra pizzazz in it and it's like a little bit more, you can sell that house for $550,000. But let's say that you take that same house with all the houses in the neighborhood, those are your comps, right? Those are your comparables. And let's say you put $400,000 into that house, and now you want to sell that house for $1 million. Well, you're not going to be able to sell that house for $1 million because that house is called over improved. Because you now are the most expensive house on a block, and actually that is not a good deal. You should not be the most expensive house on the block unless they were gonna do tear downs in the rest of the neighborhood and like build them all up. Because your comps, when the appraiser comes to do an appraiser and see what that house is actually worth, they take the 10 most recent sold properties in your neighborhood as your comps. So if all the other properties sold for $500,000 and you're trying to sell $1 million house, it's gonna be harder to sell that house. You have over improved on that house. Let me know if you're understanding what I'm saying. I'm sure real estate people or people who own homes know what I'm talking about. Oh, someone said I just passed my real estate exam. Girl, hey, congrats. Yes, okay. Heather said yes, because it doesn't fit in with the area. Yes, right? You are better off to buy like a $8,000 house and like put a couple $100,000 into that, where the other houses are also comparable. Okay, everyone said I'm with you, makes a lot of sense. Okay, great. Sometimes I say these kind of things and I forget that everyone else doesn't have a real estate background like I do. So, okay, great. Yes, that makes sense and useful. I'm in the market for a new home. Oh my God, could be good. So here, I'm so glad this was brought up. Maybe it was brought up for me. For example, one of the homes that we were looking at, Armand had found this one house and he sent me the listing, my son, and I said, oh, this looks good. I'll send it to the realtor to add on our list. 30 minutes later, I get an email from Armand saying, Mom, never mind, cancel that appointment. So I'm like, what? So I walk out of my office and I'm like, Armand, like his room is like where I can stand right outside my office and he can come out and like look down. And he's like, yes. And I'm like, why did you like that house? Why didn't you want to see it? He said, I ran comps on it. And the last 10 properties that sold in that neighborhood were all at least $500,000 less. And I'm like, you are so smart. You're right. We can't look at that house. Turns out actually that when I messaged the realtor, turns out that that house was in a neighborhood where all the other homes were being torn down and multi-million-dollar mansions were going to come in. That was just the first to do it. In that scenario, that would have been okay. It would have been slightly like hopefully this is going to pan out, but it would have been okay. But if the other houses are not going anywhere and they're all just $500,000 and those are the comps, then that could have been a big problem. So just like, I'm all about manifesting and calling it in, but I'm also a very smart businesswoman because I learned from the best, which was my mother. And so I try to keep these things in mind because you want to also be rooted in reality and what is, right? So here's why I'm talking about this. When I was watching Selling Sunset, there was a woman on the show that had 10 cars and lots of designer items, and she was looking for a house in a certain price range, which was not gonna give her a 10-car garage in California, and she was gonna have to redo the closet and blah, blah, blah. And the idea that came to my mind, I said, oh my gosh, she over improved on her lifestyle. And that's a term that I don't think anyone's ever used before, but I took it from the real estate industry. And so what I mean by that is, yes, designer items and material things are like a physical 3D vision board. And I certainly use these things that I just showed you guys as my vision boarding. But if these things that I own, my material things like my cars and my belts and my shoes and my handbags and my jewelry, if those things cost more than my actual net worth, or if these things accumulated cost more than what I can afford to house them, I have over improved on my lifestyle. Okay, I believe this. Now, maybe there's someone out there that has a different opinion on that. Totally fine. But to me, that does not feel good to me. I always want to have more money in my net worth, meaning actual investments, actual like assets, right? Your net worth is your assets minus your liabilities, right? So I don't have any liabilities and I don't count these things as my assets. So when I talk about my actual net worth, it's like actual money in the bank being invested and more money coming in. And for me, this is important because that is the actual wealth that I can create more wealth from. It's the actual wealth that I can pass down to my children. Yes, I can pass down these belts and things too, but my children are going to have their own style and their own taste, and who knows if this stuff is going to be in at that time or not. This is just for my enjoyment. But if I had all this stuff and 10 cars, and then I could only afford a house in a certain range, and then I couldn't even house those things, to me, that is an over improvement of your lifestyle, because that's just the way I think. And I can see some people arguing that maybe that's not, maybe you can manifest that. True, but if I couldn't afford a house that would house 10 cars, then to me those 10 cars are more of a liability now at this point than an asset. Okay, so let me know if this is resonating with anyone, and I can understand if you don't agree, but that's just kind of like how my mind works. I believe that because I always have a higher net worth, actual money in the bank invested, like actual money, than stuff, that actually helps me manifest faster and more because I have more options and opportunities available. So I would never, ever, ever buy these things at a cost to my manifestation powers or at the cost of my actual net worth, if that makes sense. Someone said, yes, I agree. That is an interesting belief system. Yeah, I didn't even realize that I knew that I was like that. Like I never wanted to buy anything that I couldn't actually afford, because here's why there's where this belief comes from. So my mother, so I've talked to you guys about this. Every single person has different manifesting powers. There are 1,001 manifesting techniques, right? And I learned that my mom's manifesting techniques put me in scarcity. She used to use those techniques to manifest, and she was good at them. When I would try to use her techniques, it would not work for me. It puts me in scarcity mindset. So I had to really come to terms with, well, if those things put me in scarcity mindset, what does put you in abundance mindset? And what I learned is that I cannot have more stuff than actual like cash in my bank. That puts me in scarcity mindset. Some people can, the only thing that I'm okay to break that with is education. I'm always okay to take anything that is going to enhance my consciousness. Like student loans, totally okay with. Like I know that once I invested myself in there, I can use that to make so much money. Anything with coaching, mentoring, personal development stuff, I have bought things that like blew my mind at the time of like how expensive they were, but they stretched the container and I was able to manifest more. So in that way I can do it. But for some reason, I don't like the feeling, this is just a Mina Irfan kind of issue, but I don't like having no money in the bank, but then I'm decked out in designer stuff. For me, that doesn't work. For my mother, that would have been fine. So we all have different manifesting powers. We all have different ways that we manifest. And sometimes we can use other people's as inspiration, but sometimes they're not relevant. Like for you, you might be like, no, I can be totally zero money in the bank, go to Gucci or Chanel, buy a handbag and use it to manifest money. That's awesome. I'm just here telling you, I can't do that. That for some reason puts me in that mindset of like, oh my God, now I have to make money. And I can't manifest money when I have to manifest money. Like I can do it the masculine way, like I can go and get a job and hustle and do it, but it comes at a cost to my energy. And you guys know my energy is expensive. My energy is what brings in the big bucks, what calls in all of my abundance. So knowing that about myself now at 41, like really knowing myself inside out, I don't put myself in that situation where I have so much stuff that I can't like house it or can't get the house that I want, right? Like even the house that we're buying right now, it is such a small like number to us based on our overall net worth. In fact, if we were to go to a realtor and ask them to calculate based on our income how much house that we should buy, they would have probably said around $20 million house. Like that's like reasonable for us to buy and that would have been fine. But I know myself really well, and we like to just stay where we, yes, we get to expand our container, we get to be in luxury, but in a way that's like manifestingly sustainable. I'm making up my own phrases, but I know what puts me in a mode where it becomes more of a hustle versus a flow. So let me see what you guys are saying. I know this is like a different conversation, and it's different belief systems, but again, that's why I stand by my statement that there are very many different types of manifesting techniques, and you have to find ones that work for you, because the end goal is for you to stay in abundance, for you to not feel in scarcity. Okay, so Tiffany said the extra stuff creates resistance to your manifestation power for other things. Tiffany, that describes it well. For me, like I need to know that everything that I just showed you guys, all this stuff, it's like no big deal. Like I can have this stuff and money and sitting in the bank, and I can buy a multi-million-dollar house. Like that's what keeps my vibration high. To some people, and I actually have clients that they can put themselves in complete negative, and that's what helps them manifest. They've got more of my mom's manifesting style. I can't do that. I have been in that situation as a single mom, where I was like really negative and then had to bring myself up, and then really negative and then had to bring myself up, and I did it. But I'll tell you, it burned me out. I wasn't happy doing it. I was really actually quite sad and depressed. Like felt like I can't like keep my head up above water. It wasn't like, okay, this is a challenge, like okay, we got this, right? It was not like that for me. For me, it's like yes, I flow money out and I get to have all these delicious things that I love to have, but they get to be from my overflow. I don't like it if these things were putting me in scarcity and then I needed to hustle. I don't like that feeling. My energy brings in the big bugs, girl slay. Thank you, babe. I like the way you put that. This is how I think, but I struggle with overcoming the idea of debt, and then I feel like I cannot expand my container. So I look at debt as a loan from the universe and an ultimate faith. So the way I've had debt in my life, especially when I was a single mom, you guys know, because of my failure of my last marriage, or not failure, but the ending, I should say, because it wasn't a failure. I learned a lot. My ex-husband left me with a lot of debt. He charged a lot of things on my credit cards and cars and all kinds of stuff. So I had to pay that off, right? And so I had to come to terms with that. And my relationship with debt has changed over the years. And how I feel about it now is that debt is the ultimate faith from the universe. Debt is the universe saying, you know what? I believe in your manifestation power so much more than you do right now, that I'm going to actually credit you the money before it's actually in the hands, in your hands. So that's how I look at it. Now, however, knowing that, I still choose to not be in debt because I choose to always be in overflow. But once I got to that place where debt was never, not like this ugly thing in my life that I had to overcome or hustle through or like be shameful of, because I know there can be a lot of shame attached to debt as well. When I came to, oh my God, hold on. If the universe trusts me enough to loan me the money, then the universe will pay it back, right? Like I can't, right now I can't trust myself, but the universe obviously trusted me to send in the debt, right? And let me tell you something. This is such an important topic, and I'm probably going to do a whole video on this. When you are trying to resist debt or fight debt, you forget that there's actually more levels after debt. There's more levels. I did a live stream the other day on this channel, the last live stream, and someone wrote in the comment, girls, don't live above your means. You want to be debt free. And I'm like, bitch, we above that level now, okay? I'm not even thinking about debt anymore because there's like 4 or 5 levels after that. But when someone's stuck there, they see someone else living their dream life, living their best life, and they're like, debt, 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 debt. Someone's here, someone's here, someone's here. Debt, debt, debt. Girl, get yourself out of the debt consciousness. Get yourself out of that field. Do you know that there's actual stages to wealth? This comes from the FIRE community. And in fact, I taught on this at the Rich Babe Mastermind this weekend. So if you guys want to buy the recording, it's in the recording. I talked about the 4 stages of wealth: basic babe, self-aware Barbie, million-dollar babe, and high-end divinity. And girl, we are above, like, I'm not sitting here buying these things on debt. Like, I can't even imagine, right? Because I'm in a different level. I'm in the last level, actually, where you're financially free. You don't have to work another day of your life, and your wealth keeps generating wealth. So I'm teaching, talking to, elevating you in a consciousness that's so many levels above debt, and you're sitting here going debt, 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 debt. You have to get yourself out of that field, okay? The universe trusted you enough to send you over money when you actually didn't have it. Can you trust yourself as much as the universe trusts you? Okay, you need to stop underestimating yourself because the universe isn't underestimating you. My mom told me her story with debt. She had so much credit card debt and she paid it off over time. Now her credit card score is almost at 800. Beautiful. I have the same story, right? I was left in a situation where it wasn't even all my debt and I had to get myself out of it, but I had to make peace with it first. Yes, we are on totally different level. I love it, Mina. Yeah, it's like people on the lower stage, that's like all they can think about. But here's the thing, this is a deep thing that maybe I've shared it in my courses, but let me talk about it here. I have a relative, but when I was growing up, I was spending more time with her. This relative would just ask for the bare minimum her entire life. If I just had one more little bit. And here's what I noticed. She always got it. Her siblings would give it to her. I would give it to her. Her friends would give it to her. She would always ask for crumbs and she always got them. And as I got older and discovered the law of attraction, it dawned on me that she never asked for more. She never asked for more. She didn't know to ask for more. She only asked for crumbs and she always got them. And my question is, I wonder if she ever asked for the whole meal, what would happen? But in her consciousness, it was like debt. Like that's all she can think about. I gotta pay off my debt. I gotta pay off my debt. Don't get into debt. Don't buy that, don't get into debt. Debt, 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 right? But what if there's more? Like someone that grew up and their parents were janitors, right? And their entire childhood, they were like, oh, I wish I can get a job as a janitor. I wish I can get a job as a janitor. What if you can get a job as an admin? Or something even higher than that? But like, that's all you know. Like that's the highest tier that you know about. And that's all you ask about. So law of attraction forces you in a way, inspires you, maybe is a better word, to ask for a little bit more than what you think you can receive. But most people don't even know what to ask for. The internet, I feel like God invented the internet to be like, oh my God, these people are not even asking for the right things. We need to just expand their consciousness. When I see people playing even higher than I can imagine, I'm like, okay, all right, mind blown. I need a minute. I've actually had the pleasure with working with clients in the last 4 or 5 years that told me things that they had manifested that literally I was like, oh my God, you manifested that? I didn't even know that was an option. And I would go back in my journal and be like, okay, universe, I think you brought this client in front of my face so they can tell me this. Oh my God, I didn't even know that was a possibility. So put yourself in fields where you're being expanded in your consciousness. So the woman that commented on that on my video talking about manifesting wealth and all of the stuff, she's seeing someone live really large beyond what she can even imagine. So she's like, okay, let's get everyone to come back down to debt. Girls, don't get into debt. Do you see what she's doing? I'm over here like, look, this is also available. No, 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 no. Debt. Don't get into debt. It's like, These are all inspirations and magazine images for us to expand our consciousness. I am always mind blown when I hear about women receiving, doing, creating things that I've never even thought was a possibility. And I'm like, oh my God, there's more levels after where I'm at. There's more levels. There's always more levels unless you're dead. And even then, death is the ultimate next level because now you're going even higher. So there's always next levels, okay? Let me get a sip of my drink. Ooh, I like this. Someone said part of being comfortable with being uncomfortable is asking for more. Ooh, I like it. Yes, I used to clean bathrooms as well, and I would think that was the only job out there, right? And there's nothing wrong with doing any job, right? But at a certain point, you're gonna wake up in that job and be like, okay, done learning my lessons over here. What's next? But if you think crumbs are the only thing available, then you'll all keep asking for that, right? Like you'll think this is the only job on the planet. No, every single job, I don't care if you are the CEO of the biggest company on the planet, there will come a time when you're gonna be like, okay, been there, done that, what's next? Because we're gonna keep evolving. There's more levels always. I was just going to ask you, what's the first thing you do when you have those light bulb moments around your container? You answered it, journal. And that journal entry always starts with this, Heather Ann. It always starts with OMG, mind blown, didn't even realize that this was an option. I don't know why, that's how it always starts for me. Because to me, it is amazing that at 41 doing inner work, like traveling, doing all this stuff, I'm still hearing things where I'm just like, wait, I can ask for that? Wait, what? You manifested what now? That just blows my mind. I'm like, oh my God, I'm adding that to my list. I love it. But what if I went to that woman that's like manifesting at a higher level and I'm like, but what if I had debt free, debt? Like she would be like, girl, bitch, I'm over that. Like, what? What do you mean debt? Like she's not even talking about that. Thank you, babe. She said, love you, Mina. You're changing my life. Thank you, babe. I'm loving this live. I'm so glad. I had like all these video topics, but I have been like, that 4-week travel came back, the Houston intensive, the Hawaii intensive packing. My in-laws are coming like in 2 hours. What time is it? In 2 hours, my in-laws get here. So like we weren't expecting, this was like a kind of a spontaneous trip for them. So while I'm in Hawaii, I had left everything, like there's boxes in here. I don't know if you guys can see. I had started packing. So I'm like, I packed like all my dresses, like anyways, we will figure it out. And they were more than welcome to come anytime. It was just like, okay, hold on, we're just gonna pile that on. So I had all these like great video topics for this channel, all this money stuff. And I'm like, I wanna do these videos, but there's just something after another. So this live touched on all of them. But what I wanna do is when I get in the new house, I wanna sit down and make separate topic videos about all this stuff that I'm talking about here. And of course, I talk about this stuff in my courses and my programs. I used to be so triggered by your content, but something kept pulling me to it. I'm in a very different vibration than I was in the last year at this time. Thank you, Mina. You are so welcome, babe. I love that. Thank you for owning your triggers. I have said this before and I'll say it again. The women in my life that triggered me the most, the women that I hated, the women that I was like, make them go away, I can't stand them, ended up causing the biggest growth in my life. Because once I shifted from I hate them to what is it about them that triggers me so much, I realized I wanted what they had. I wanted to embody their energies. I wanted to have the lifestyle that they had. And that's why they were triggering me, because I was afraid to own it. I didn't think it was a possibility for me. I've bought 2 of your courses and I'm quantum jumping. It's a lot of fun. I'm so happy, babe. Deciding to live in my highest excitement. Girl, because why else? What else would you want to live in? Yes. Yes. This live is literally exactly what I needed. Oh, I'm so glad, Elena. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Now I know why I was going to film this video and then I'm like, why don't I just go live? I have so much stuff I want to say to them about money and over improving your lifestyle, so much stuff. Mina, how do I know if I've been delusionally irresponsible or living in faith following my heart? So I am known in my family as being delusional, very irresponsible, very impulsive, and yet I love every moment of my life. I love it. So I'm not a good person to ask about this because according to a lot of people, I'm very irresponsible. I married a man. I said yes to him after 2 weeks of dating. I married him after 2 months. Very irresponsible, according to a lot of people, right? I quit my business and my job and became a stay-at-home mom for 9 years. Very irresponsible, right? I didn't have a backup plan when I applied for the university that I wanted to go for. Very irresponsible, but it happened. I got in, right? I started this business and just put everything out there and very irresponsible. But look what's happening with that now. Like my soul is lit up. So if you want to be responsible, I'm probably not the best teacher to teach you how to be responsible because I don't know whose guidelines to follow on that. I don't. I just do what my heart says, and my heart is very impulsive, very spontaneous. I mean, people, my husband and kids are used to my crazy, but people outside, like my extended family, are just in shock with the decisions I make, the way I own them. They see it now as my power, of course. They see how successful I am, but there's still a part of them that's scared of it. I know, they tell me all the time. So I don't know how to teach you to be responsible. Ever since I started your course in love meditations, I've had men approach me nonstop everywhere, even as I cross the street, asking me out. My friends started to point it out too. I love that, Lucy. That is totally normal and shows how well you're embodying this work. I love it. I love it. You know, proximity also matters. This reminds me, I was at the Ritz-Carlton teaching this Rich Babe Mastermind this past week, and the Ritz-Carlton location in Waikiki is residences, meaning you can stay there, but you can also, but all the units are individually owned by owners, okay? So I keep forgetting this, that this is not a regular Ritz-Carlton property, it's a residences. So 3 times I was in the elevator and 3 different times a man got in the elevator, complimented, one was like, oh my God, that smile. I said, thank you. And then he started asking me where I'm from. And I said, you know, from Houston, Texas. Oh, are you here on vacation? No, I'm teaching this intensive. And I said, how about you? And all 3 of them were like, we live here. And so what I was thinking was a lot of the girls that were on this intensive, a lot of them were single. They're rotational dating. Not all of them were, a lot of them were. And I was thinking, look, being in this property instantly puts you in the elevator with multimillionaires, because the cheapest property you can buy in this Ritz-Carlton residences, the cheapest is like a multi-million-dollar little condo, right? So not only are you being like, you know, men are approaching you and asking you and flirting with you everywhere you go, but where you are changes what type of men. All 3 of these men said, we live here, right? Which means they're multimillionaires if they live here. So put yourself in the field of those kind of people, right? Choosing to pay a little bit more and staying at the Ritz-Carlton now puts you in access to these people versus staying at a regular property. Hi, Vanessa. Happy to have you. My debt has made my life easier for some reason. There you go. See? It's whatever energy you decide to put in it. Your job is to do things that put you in highest alignment. And I'm very honest in the sense that, like, sometimes the things that puts people in high alignment doesn't put me. Like my mom's manifesting technique scares me, doesn't work for me. But then my job is to say, okay, what manifesting technique does work? Another option is, if you've already done something and it's not feeling good, decide to let it feel good. So for example, if you already have debt and you're letting society tell you that you're bad and you're a bad little girl, you have to reframe that. You have to say, whoa, hold on. The universe trusted me enough to send me this money even before I actually had it. Well, then I need to trust myself more. If the universe, like, think of it this way, when you apply for a credit card, they have to see you as credit worthy, Am I not right? Correct? Right? They see if you are worth banking on, right? Worth investing in. So the universe finds you worth investing in. The bank finds you worth investing in. Why are you sitting there doubting your ability to pay it back? That's what it comes down to. True, my friends think I'm delusional and unrealistic. Here I am only dating multimillionaires and only having luxury experiences. I normalized it so much that to me it's the only thing available. There you go. She normalized that as her only level. I love it. I stayed in a glamorous old Hollywood glam style bed and breakfast for my 25th birthday. Happy birthday, babe. Oh, last year. Happy belated birthday. It was a life-changing experience. The big tubs, showers, separate. Oh my God, love. Yes. Now, what I said about not over improving your lifestyle, if it helps you change the house and manifest more, that's different. So for example, for 10 years, when we bought this house, this was the leap. This was the expansion at that time. Then we paid it off in 3 years. We've owned this house for 10 years. At that time, the closets that I have now were really ginormous to me because I was coming from a smaller house, right? When I moved in over the last 10 years, a lot changed. I used this to manifest my next level, and then I outgrew this house and these closets. But the new house that I'm buying, it's expanding me in the space that it has. It's twice the size, actually more than twice the size of this house. So two and a little something of these homes can fit in that house. It's expanding me, but not in a way that puts me in scarcity. So my over improvement, like I have more handbags now, more shoes, more jewelry, all that stuff, it still puts me in abundance. It doesn't put me in a scary vibe, right? So her going to that Airbnb, if she came back home and she was like, you know what? Now it's time to upgrade my house, and she calls that in, that's a good way of doing it. That's a way that you can align with. But if it puts her in scarcity, if it puts her in like let's say she comes home, she doesn't like her house, buys a house that like freaks her out, her container is can't handle it, is she going to be able to call in the money to pay off that house? So that's the question that you need to ask yourself is, does the manifesting technique that I'm using help me call in more money, or does it put me in so much scarcity that every day is a struggle? I personally can't do that. Every day is a struggle. My energy is what calls in worlds. I cannot mess with that. Yes, just that experience helped to call in more abundance. I had never paid more than $100 a night for a hotel stay. I can really relate to that. We had for many years a cap of like 150 a night, and then we had to go to 200, and then 2000. The first time we paid $2,000 a night, like it like really expanded us. So, but we did it in a way that we can hold the container. I totally understand. Proximity is so true. I stayed at the one hotel in Miami for work a couple of weeks ago, and I met two actors and was given all kinds of free comms. I was doing the Dream Girl course at the time too. Girl, yes, that you're becoming your own dream girl. So of course everyone else gets to see you that way. I love it. When are you going to move? So our closing date says July 4th or sooner. So let's see. Let's see. It's going to be any minute now. All right, ladies, my in-laws are going to be here in like an hour and a half. I have to go, some last minute things that I need to do, make sure everything is in order. I love you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out with me. The Rich Babe Mastermind recordings are available to buy. They're on a pre-order price right now. And I know that I think the timer went 0, but I still haven't changed the price. So if you want to, you can grab that really quickly. Also, the Savage Feminine course, which is like my underground trainings, things too racy to say on YouTube, that's happening starting July 13th. So this weekend is the last weekend to sign up for that, so you can come in live. I love you. Bye. I'll see you in the next one.